Good morning, all of you. Welcome you all in this platform of StudyIQ OPSC channel. So today is 30th June, and we will discuss national and international news as well as few Odisha related current affairs as well. Those who are online, please confirm audio and video both are working fine so that you can share with your friends, and we will start our session without any delay. Everything is fine. Good morning, Manas. Good morning, Sasmita. Okay, so let's start the daily current affairs. Okay, so today's news: Sariska Tiger Reserve, wetland, 3-language policy, census, anti-Maoist strife, and fisherman issue. So these are the few. Thank you for the confirmation. These are the few news today. Sariska Tiger Reserve, Congress plays proposal to revive mining operation in Sariska Tiger Reserve. So for us, Sariska Tiger Reserve is important. Okay, let's see. Plan to redraw the boundaries of the Sariska Tiger Reserve for the reactivation. Mind this word, reactivation of over 50 mining operations. 50 mining operations को reactivation करिबा पाई. Now the government has decided, or they are simply trying to redraw the boundaries of the Sariska Tiger Reserve. The Rajasthan government has asked National Board for Wildlife to rationalize the critical tiger habitat boundary for the Sariska Tiger Reserve. Rationalize the critical tiger habitat boundary of the Sariska Tiger Reserve. Okay, so let's see in detail what exactly Sariska Tiger Reserve news. If this request which has been sent by the Rajasthan government, if approved, 48 square kilometer of hilly terrain presently inside the core area, okay, inside the core area will be excluded. Okay, excluded means that will be used for the mining purpose. That would be used for the mining purpose. Okay, so ये जो 48 square kilometer Sariska Tiger Reserve अछि, से area को government wants to use that as a mining areas because those areas are rich in mineral resources. The move would let more than 50 long shot marble, dolomite and limestone, because Rajasthan is a marble famous, I think you know this. So marble, dolomite and limestone mines are abundantly available in that area. So government wants to explore that mining areas. Mines near villages such as Koh, Tilwad and Palpur resumes operation. Conservation concern देखिए, conservation concern. Ecologists warn the excised hills form critical corridor and breeding habitat, but that area is critical corridor and breeding habitat. Mining blast could fragment the landscape. Yani ki simply you can say habitat loss. So it's a threat to conservation of tiger because it's a tiger reserve, Sariska Tiger Reserve. So first threat would be habitat loss, या habitation loss you can say, disturb the prey, undo 2 decades of painstaking tiger reintroduction. यानी कि once in 2004 there was 0 tiger in the Sariska Tiger Reserve. Due to high amount of conservation effort, now it's 48 numbers or 48 tigers are there in 2025. Okay, the Supreme Court had banned mining within the 1 kilometer of Sariska's core in 2024. So within 1 kilometer area re konosi prakara mining ko Supreme Court had banned earlier in 2024. It asked Rajasthan government to finalize any boundary corrections only to rectify the mapping errors, not to legalize mining. Although Supreme Court had given the instruction to the Rajasthan government to rectify the map or the boundary, to you can say redraw the boundary, but redraw boundary माने नुहे कि for the mining permission the Supreme Court is giving. Redraw means जो error they have done, so that would be rectified. But instead of doing that, Rajasthan government is asking for this mining permission again. Okay. So let's see a bit of facts. Tiger Reserve, Sariska, that is in Alwar district of Rajasthan, part of the Aarambh Hills. Aarambh Hills, I think you know this, denuded, very old hill areas, hill mountain, Aarambh. Tiger status, local extinction in 2004, यानी कि zero population of tiger. Now due to reintroduction from Ranthambore, now it's 48 tigers in 2025. Legal seal notified under this Conservation of Tiger Habitat and Wildlife Protection Act, plus Supreme Court had banned of mining within the 1 kilometer of this Conservation of Tiger Habitat, या core area जोटा थिला. Current proposal, shrinking this habitat on southern and western flanks, move now before this National Biodiversity or this National Board of Wildlife Standing Committee. Key concern what? Loss of hill corridor that link eastern and western blocks of Sariska, blasting vibration, dust, trafficking, etc., etc. So these are the, habitation loss, all those things, kind of a threat to the conservation to the Sariska Tiger Reserve. Okay, so this was the news, Sariska Tiger Reserve Visher. Okay, moving to the next topic, that is the wetland. Water body or low-lying land, a dispute that lies at heart of Delhi's depleting wetlands. So let's see what is wetland and all those conservation mechanism of the wetlands. A growing number of natural wetlands in Delhi, if you see the context, crucial for groundwater recharge, flood control, biodiversity, are being classified as the low-lying lands, making them vulnerable to encroachment, construction or diversion. So these wetland areas are considered as, or they are known as the low-lying lands, and they are threat with respect to what? Encroachment, construction and diversion of those wetland areas. Okay, so let's see in detail. Legal and institutional context. If you see wetland Conservation and Management Rules 2017, what it suggests, it requires states and union territories to identify, notify or protect the wetland. So as per the Wetlands Rules 2017, so कौन कहुची कि states and union territories will identify, notify and protect the wetland. And there must be a prohibition activities like encroachment by, suppose let's say real estate people. They simply fill the wetland and construct this, high-rise apartments for the housing purposes. Okay, construction and dumping yard. They're also using that as a dumping yard because these big cities, large cities, they need places to dump those waste materials. So, wetlands ko use koruchu. Okay. Let's see what is the role of the National Grain Tribunal has repeatedly directed Delhi and other states to notify wetlands in a time-bound manner. So once those areas will be notified as wetland, then that must come under the conservation rule or conservation policy. So that cannot be ignored. But due to this delay of notifying the wetlands, so there is a high chance this anthropogenic intervention or human intervention lead to this destruction of wetlands or this, encroachment, construction issue. In 2023, fined the Delhi government for the slow progress. So National Grain Tribunal 2023 Delhi government upre kote fine be imposed korithila due to delay in the recognition and notifying those areas as the wetland. Environmental significance kono dekhiba jo natural wetlands gudika hochi. First, rainwater harvester, that means it will conserve water from this rain. Okay, and flood buffers, yani ki jo surplus water asibo, which could create a flood area in the urban areas, you can say, a flood zone in the urban areas, that surplus water can be absorbed by the wetlands. Carbon sink in the sense ki jo carbon emission hochi due to vehicular pollution and other resources, industries, etc. Se kon kariba carbon sink, yani ki carbon ko absorb kariba plus temperature ko moderate kari pare. Habitats for over 150 migratory bird species. यानी कि जो obviously जोठी lake रहिबो या wetlands रहिबो, you will find different types of bird species as well. It also helps us in terms of groundwater recharge zones. There are such many, जेमती आपण कोई पर भी irrigation ପାଇଁ भी use करा जाए, irrigation ପାଇଁ use करा जाए. If there would be a lake or large pond जदि देखिबे, सेठी fishing activities भी करा जाए, जोटा कि हमें livelihood opportunities भी कहूचे. Okay, livelihood opportunities. आउ कोन अछि, water supply is another factor. Water supply भी करा जाई पारे. So these are few measures, or these are few you would say significance of wetland. Okay, next देखिबा wetland. जदि आपण constitutional provisions को देखिबा, constitutional or legal, you can say constitutional or legal केमती प्रोटेक्शन करा जाउची. आर्टिकल 48A कोन कोज देखंदु, states shall protect and improve environment and wildlife. Under this, wetland is there. Article 51A, that is fundamental duties of citizen to protect the environment. So it's a duty of the citizen to protect the wetland as well. Environment and Protection Act 1986, ये कौन कौन सी देखो, Umbrella Act for the Wetland Protection, यानी कि Environment Protection Act under review. It says to protect the wetlands, or to conserve the wetlands. Okay. पुन देखो, Ramsar Convention on Wetland 1971. Intergovernmental treaty, Ramsar Convention kodo na intergovernmental treaty between the governments of different countries. Intergovernmental treaty. देखो ये statement बड़े बड़े आसे. It's an NGO or intergovernmental treaty, okay, or it's treaty between the corporates, okay. So ये type of questions आसे. So just remember, intergovernmental treaty signed in Ramsar, Iran. Mission कौन देखो, conservation and wise use of all wetlands through local and national action. Local and national action principles कौन देखो, wise use यानी कि judicious use. It does not mean कि आपण use ही करी परिबे ना. Judicious use, wise use, so that both, I mean, exploitation in the sense कि use of that resources as well as the conservation or preserve. That means in a sustainable manner. List of wetlands of international importance. International cooperation also, and India is a contracting party since 1982. India has already signed this international convention in 1982. Okay, there is a Montreux record. There is a Montreux record in this. अपन करो जोटा अच्छी Ramsar Convention. Montreux record. Montreux record कौन कुछ देखो. Montreux record means list of Ramsar sites which are under threat. List of Ramsar sites which are under threat. Only those Ramsar sites will be included in the Montreux record. एटा को मन रखते हुए, कारण Ramsar sites गुडी को list तो करा जाए, but को गुडी को होची that comes under the Montreux record, those are in threat. एटा को मन रखिए. Okay. India entries कौन ना एबे अच्छी देखंतु, लोकताक लेक जोटा कि मणिपुर रे अच्छी. The second one is the Keoladeo National Park, that is in Rajasthan. Once upon a time, Chilika was there, but Chilika was withdrawn from this due to the successful conservation. Okay. Next, देखिए three language policy. Three language policy. Maharashtra scraps new three language policy. Let's see in detail. Maharashtra Education Department had proposed a revised three language formula, making it mandatory for students in all schools, including private and international board, to learn Marathi as a compulsory subject, English the second, and the Hindi or any modern Indian language. This was to be implemented from the primary school, standard 1 onwards, and aimed at uniform linguistic integration across the medium. Okay, so this is the context, and you will find that every union territory and states almost following this kind of system under this new education policy, as per new education policy 2020, three language formula or three language policy. Okay, opposition parties simply जब आपण देखिए शिवसेना और मराठी advocacy groups, they are saying imposition of Hindi undermining the regional linguistic identity, undermining the regional linguistic minority identity. Okay, that means they are saying Marathi would be threat. I mean, similar kind of argument you can give for the other states as well. Suppose Odisha, if you see, Odisha, जोटा कि आमे कहि पारु जदि Hindi would be included in that 3 language policy, then there could be a possibility imposition of Hindi. Out a simply jinso you will find there are multiple languages which are spoken by the other communities as well. I mean, other communities in the sense those are minor communities. For example, different tribal languages. Jemti Kui gote language, Kui. So, such languages could be in threat because of this 3 language policy. That is another concern which has been raised by across the country. Educational experts are saying it will overburden the young students, as well. Lack of trained teachers in all 3 languages, lack of trained teachers, and this shows one size fits all, yani ki centralized policy. I mean, this is a prescriptive in nature, like top to bottom. States are not been consulted. States have not been consulted. So this is another concern. So it's simply imposing this 3 language policy on the states. I mean, these are the few concerns which has been raised by the political parties and other expert groups, or simply you can say states which are having different government other than the central government. 3 language formula dekhiba. First introduced in the National Policy Education in 1968. For the first time, it was introduced in 1968 and reaffirmed in 1986, and then in National Education Policy, New Education Policy in 2020. What is the objective? Promote regional languages. Regional languages, Odia, Marathi, Bengali, Gujarati, Tamil, Telugu, etc., etc., Malayalam. And then the Hindi and English, foreign or other Indian languages. Okay, this is the prime objective, to promote languages, regional language, Hindi of course, and English, foreign and other Indian languages. Okay. Constitutional basis. Let's say what is the provision in the constitution. Article 350A says instruction in the mother tongue at the primary level. Instruction in the mother tongue in the primary level. So at the primary schools or primary level, instructions would be given in the mother tongue or those vernacular medium. Jemti Telugu, Tamil, Malayalam, Odia, Bengali, etc., etc. So that would be mother tongue. Promotion of Hindi as per the article 351. 351 says promotion of Hindi. See, the very cleverly this term has been written in the constitution. Very smartly this term has been written in the constitution. That means central government cannot impose on the state governments for the Hindi language, because there are states of other than the Hindi languages or non-Hindi belt, especially the southern parts of the country. So that is the reason it says promotion. Government can promote. And in the 8th schedule, if you see, recognizes 22 official languages including Marathi. So Marathi jemti discussion hochil Marathi lekhaiji, but there are other local languages in the Odisha bhi, Odia bhi achi, jemti Kui language bhi kohutile, that has been placed in the 22 official languages in the 8th schedule as well. Okay. Next, thank you. Census. Ahead of census, states asked to lock changes in boundaries before 31st December. Let's see. Last call. Around 24 lakh enumeration blocks finalized for the 2021 census are likely to be used for the 2027 count. The census can be conducted only 3 months after the freezing of the boundary limits of the administrative units. Freezing of the boundaries limits of the administrative units. That means, जो administrative units गुड़िक अछि, that boundaries must be finalized. कि suppose this is one administrative unit and these are the areas comes under that. Let me give you one example. Amano simple dekhibe, there is a boundary dispute between the Odisha and Andhra regarding the Kotia Panchayat. Boundary dispute between the Odisha and Bengal regarding those mining areas, although this has been resolved. So similar kind of boundary problem or boundary issues between states in our country. So what central government is suggesting, you demarcate your boundary lines. तो एठी ओडिशा को कहबा को पड़िबो कि कोटिया कम्स अंडर ओडिशा और कोटिया कम्स अंडर आंध्र प्रदेश बिफोर I mean 31st December, and after that there will be no alteration and change from this boundary so that census would be conducted smoothly. Okay, ତେଣୁ ସେଇଟା ଗୋଟେ concern ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଆପଣ ଦେଖିବେ with respect to the demarcation of boundaries. House listing operation to begin in 1st April 2026 while the population count is set to begin in the 1st February 2027. Any changes in the existing boundaries must be intimated by December 31st, 2025. So, every state would notify to the center that these are the boundary areas of Odisha. Okay. Boundaries of administrative units are not changed once enumeration blocks are finalized. It cannot be changed after the finalization. So, if you see the context, the Office of the Registrar General and Census Commissioner of India has directed all states and UTs to freeze their administrative boundaries by 31st December 2025. This is in preparation for the long pending census of 2021, which is yet to be conducted. Okay, what is this freezing of boundaries? Let's see. It refers to finalization of jurisdictional limits of the administrative units like districts, tehsil, towns, villages, which used to be used for the census or NPR operation. Simple, you can give this example whether this Kotia Panchayat would be counted in Odisha or in Andhra Pradesh. So that is the case, because on the basis of census you will have, the Finance Commission will use it for the recommendation of the fund transfer. Socio-economic caste census bhi habo, on that basis welfare schemes will be decided. So there are many such implications of this census. So Kotia jodi Odisha re asla, then they would be considered as the Odisha habitats or say type of fund be transfer karajo. If they would be considered as the part of Andhra Pradesh, then tanko pai paisa ta Andhra ku jibo. So that would be the case. Then it is necessary to finalize before to block this thing. Okay. Once frozen, no changes, creation, merger, renaming, bifurcation allowed until census enumeration is completed. So once it is decided, so till the census is completed, then you cannot alter. Even if you alter that, tapare kichhi fayda hoban, because census has already been conducted. So any such policy would be on the basis of that census. Why is it important? Ensures uniformity and accuracy in data collection. ओके यदि ओडिशा वाला कहीदे भाई कोटिया आमर भी आसी, आंध्रा वाले भी कहे आमर भी आसी, तो there must be overlapping. Prevents confusion due to mid-census boundary changes which could lead to duplication, omission, misreporting population and resources data. Okay, overlapping data, mid-census re jodi habo overlapping habo, multiple duplications heyi pare, so to avoid that. Crucial for the electoral role as well, role alignment, delimitation, resource allocation and planning as well. Okay, these are the significance why we want that the demarcation must be fixed. Legal framework देखिए, conducted under the Census Act 1948. Conducted on the Census Act 1948. Administrative units are governed by the State Reorganization Acts. Changes require gazette notification. Okay, changes requires gazette notification. So if that Kotia Panchayat would come under Odisha or Andhra, that must be published in the gazette or gazette document. जोटा आपण देखिथिबे जो हमें एक्ट कहूचे प्रथम सेटा बिल हे कि आसे फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल दे वुड बी इंट्रोड्यूस्ड in assembly or parliament as a bill. Once that is finalized or approved by the houses, and then the president or governor with respect to parliament, president, governor with respect to state. Once that has been finalized, then that is published in the Gazette of India. You can Google it, Gazette of India, to know or to see that document. So once it is published in the Gazette of India, then it is a formal law, right? If any change is required, then obviously first you have to come with the bill, amendment bill to this particular law. So this must be published in the Gazette of India, so no one can claim on this. Okay. Then next thing, anti-Maoist drive in Telangana. Amit Shah asked Maoists to drop guns, join political mainstream. Let's see. Key statement, what Amit Shah suggests, called upon Maoist insurgents to drop their guns and join the democratic process. Emphasized that violence has no place in a democratic India and those who surrender will be rehabilitated under the government scheme. Highlighted government efforts to improving infrastructure, security and development in left-wing extremist affected region. So you can use this quote, drop their guns and join the democratic process. So if national security, the national security, जो आपनकर internal security, जो the question आसे left wing extremism को नहीं की, you can simply quote this statement. Union Home Minister Amit Shah has said or appealed to those Maoist leaders to drop their guns and join the democratic process. This statement you can give, no harm in that because this is the Union Home Minister's statement. So, बहुत समय opening statement यदि किसी catchy phrases ए type रो आपण देबे, that will be good. Okay, mains रे. So emphasize the no place in the democratic, violence has no place in democratic India and rehabilitation. This is one thing we need to discuss. Before few years ago, this Naxalism or the problem of this Maoist has been seen as the law and order problem. I'm a law and order situation and government was trying to suppress that movement. But government realized this is not a problem of law and order, rather this is a problem of lack of development. This is a problem of lack of development, number one. So government started involving itself, development in the sense schools, hospitals, better communication, transportation, housing facilities, drinking water facilities, toilet facilities, sanitation, everything has been provided, those areas. So this is the developmental aspect. Second aspect is then if someone wants to leave that profession, let's say, so what that person will do, who that person will ask for. So ସେଥିପାଇଁ ଆମେ decide kale, let's go for the rehabilitation, or if they want to surrender, ତେବେ ସେମାନଙ୍କୁ surrender କରିବାକୁ ଦିଆଯାଉ. Surrender does not mean you will start asking question ke bhai apanko strategy kohuntu, who are your leaders, कोठी semanଙ୍କର base अछि, केमति ताको ଆମେ catch करिवु, information provide करो, जेमति ଆମେ generally we are doing with the terrorist. Okay, so this in this particular scheme or a जो Maoist drive रे, we did not consider this approach कि समान को आने की information बाहर करिवा. So what we did, हमें simply without asking any question समान को rehabilitation करिवा को चेष्टा करूँ. In terms of what? In terms of money, right? They can start their own business, livelihood. Government is also thinking of providing any kind of skill. Okay, and there are many instances जोटी की couples माने ही छाड़ी के पड़े होसन. So for them, they are simply asking, if you want to start a new life, so make a family. So someone कर marriage करेगा, इसो जिनसे भी formally government is organizing. So government is organizing these kind of policies to build the confidence. So the confidence someone कर नो आसिबो, they will not come forward or surrender with the government. So actually, एवं someone कर प्राइवेसी ସେମାନଙ୍କୁ मेंटेन करा जाउची so that ସେମାନେ further expose ଯେମିତି ନ ହୁଅନ୍ତୁ. काउंसलिंग करा जाउची कि भाई this is the life you have to live, ये सब जिनस भी चली. तेणु rehabilitation process is also going on, and similarly improving infrastructure in terms of security and development you can see on those left-wing areas. What is left-wing extremism? A form of armed rebellion inspired by the Maoist ideology. Okay, inspired by the Maoist ideology. Let me tell you, whenever you write answer, apno Naxalism no likhegi, you just try to write this term, left-wing extremism. That would be more appropriate. Naxal sabda likhibe nahi. Okay, apno likhibe left-wing extremism. So they use what? Guerrilla warfare or guerrilla tactics. What is this guerrilla warfare, guerrilla tactics? That means hide and seek. So since they spread in the forest areas को they use as their defense or sealed. Okay, कहीं ना सेठी लुची की सेवन कौन करो दी hide and seek करी की armed forces ऊपर attack करो. Concentrated in the raid corridor. So raid corridor region देखो दो parts of Chhattisgarh in the Bastar Esu region, Jharkhand, Odisha, Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Bihar and West Bengal. The kind of जोटा का में दंडकारण्य बोली कहूचे ये जो रीजन दंडकारण्य बोली कहूचे एंड दोस एरियाज ऑफ ईस्टर्न घाट बिकॉज फॉरेस्ट एरियाज इज गुड टू हाइड ओके सरकार कौन इनिशिएटिव गुड़िक अच्छे देखो फर्स्ट इनिशिएटिव समाधान डॉक्ट्रिन strategic response to left wing extremism includes technology intelligence coordination development samadhan complete 360-degree approach okay surrender and rehabilitation policy offers financial aid so उनको financial aid दूँ so that they can start a business they are providing any skill housing facilities to the surrender Maoist aspirational district program focuses on the left-wing extremism hit regions with the poor SDI indicators. Lower, अपन देखिए जो maternal and child health care, okay, schooling, other healthcare facilities, road, transportation, communication, banking facilities, electricity, sabu jinsare we are providing in the aspirational district program. Deployment of the CAPF, CRPF, Cobra, BSF, ITBP support anti-Naxal operation. That means those are military and paramilitary forces. खास करके paramilitary forces are deployed in those region. Special central assistance funds, infrastructure, schools, roads in left-wing extremism affected districts, etc. Okay. Next is fisherman issue. Fisherman issue. The Sri Lankan Navy detained 8 Indian fishermen from Tamil Nadu, alleging they crossed the international maritime boundary line and were fishing in Sri Lankan waters. So this news is not new. Every year you will find 2 to 3 instances like this. Every time few fishermen from Tamil Nadu, they cross the international maritime boundary and they enter into the Sri Lankan water and Navy generally they arrest. I mean once the case was there, the Navy directly shoot a person. I mean that person died. So that also we have seen. But generally someone कौन करते arrest करते and they Indian diplomacy पुनी someone को release करे अपने चेष्टा करते. So let's see. Disputed area कौन? First होची Park Bay, shallow waters between the Tamil Nadu and northern Sri Lanka. So very difficult to identify because this is a water body, right? You can't identify this is the maritime boundary. So for the fishing, they simply cross the border. Main conflict, Indian trawlers encroaching into Sri Lankan waters, Lankan Navy's arrest and vessel seize. Someone karo vessel V, someone seize kari nande. Okay. Kachatibu Island. This is one of the significant dispute between the India and Sri Lanka. Kachatibu Island. Kachatibu Island is considered as a part of a disputed territory. So during the Indira Gandhi time, as a sign of good gesture, अपन कही परिबे, the disputed maritime settlement was there. तो सितरे जो कच्चथीबू आइलैंड थिला ताकू श्रीलंका को दे दिया जाइथिला in 1974 by the Indira Gandhi. But Tamil Nadu people, they are strongly demanding this is the part of our own territory. Okay, so because Kachatibu is rich for the fishing areas. Okay, fishing areas by काफी सेटा Kachatibu Island is famous. So although Tamil Nadu is still approaching the union government to get back this Kachatibu Island, but taku already हमें दे दी जो कहा को श्रीलंका को. Trawling ban, Sri Lanka bans bottom trawling, a method still used by the Indian fisher for the deep fishing and all. Impact, livelihood loss, repeated arrest and strained bilateral ties between the Sri Lanka and India. Okay. तो ये हुई आपनकर fisherman issue. India's position, advocates for a humanitarian and diplomatic solution. India has proposed joint working group to resolve such issues. If I mean this is happening regularly. Okay, common fishing calendar and zones, phasing out bottom trawling through central assistance. So India is proposing this. What Sri Lanka is proposing? Claims Indian boats deplete marine resources and violate sovereignty. Marine resources in the sense, obviously Sri Lankan people is also engaging in the fishing activities, right? That means Indians fishermen are extracting resources from the Sri Lankan areas. That is the reason they are alleging or arresting Indians fishermen. strong stance under the domestic pressure from the northern province fishers या fishermen community. खास करके northern province रे जो माने अपन करो Sri Lankan fishermen अछन, they are living livelihood सेमानंकर, so they are simply putting pressure on the Sri Lankan government, okay, to resolve this particular issue. Okay, so परिपूर्ण बैच मु आपन कहि रखे monsoon धमाका सेल रो आज होची लास्ट डेट 30th जून जी भी चाहूं जदी जॉइन करबा पई जॉइन करि नियंतु जेन लाइव कोड को यूज करिकी एंड आपन करो क्लास नोट्स रहिबो लाइव क्लासेस रहिबो एसे एनरिचमेंट सेशन अछि एथिक्स एज यू नो कंप्लीट करा जाउची पूरा कंप्लीट जीएस सिलेबस 1000+ आवर्स लाइव क्लासेस अछि एठी ओके 12 एठी अपन को 23+ टेस्ट सीरीज अपन को फ्री मिलुची प्लस अपन दी फर्स्ट अटेम्प्ट प्रीलिम्स क्लियर करूछन देन होल मनी विल बी रिफंडेड इंग्लिश ओडिया अपन करो ये होची बैच रो मोड होची इंग्लिश ओडिया ओके नेक्स्ट देखियो IT Bill 2025. Legal experts, civil society groups, and privacy advocates have urged the Union government to reconsider provisions in the draft Income Tax Bill 2025 that grant broad digital search powers to the tax authorities. Okay, तो जो IT Income Tax Bill जो आसी 2025 रे, so they are showing concern. Revisit digital search powers because these tax authorities have been given absolute search power or search authority. Then when we say absolute search power or search authority, that means it violates the privacy which is part of the Article 21, you can say right to life with dignity jota hame कहूचे. देखिए problematic provision कौन? The draft IT Bill 2025 grants tax officials the power to access, search, copy digital devices like phones, laptops and hard drives during searches and surveys without a judicial warrant. Okay, tax officials can search of any of your digital devices, phone, laptop, anything, desktop, anything without any judicial warrant. It also allows copying of cloud data. अपन को cloud data भी से copy कर भी emails, WhatsApp chats, raising privacy and surveillance concern. Obviously, it's questioning on Article 21. Key concern is lack of judicial oversight. Unlike police search under CRPC with warrants, IT officials can access personal data without court approval. So without any arrest warrant or something, they can simply access your private data. Violation of privacy rights goes against the spirit of Supreme Court's 2017 Puttaswamy judgment, which upheld privacy as a fundamental right under Article 21. Okay, मन रखते हुए Puttaswamy judgment, which says privacy as a fundamental right under Article 21, and this judgment was given in 2017. Right, that means the simply violating the privacy of an individual. Ambiguity in scope, no clear limits on what can be copied, how long it can be retained, or who can access it. Ambiguity. So when there is an ambiguity, that means government has enough scope to deal with that. Okay, they can copy as much as they can keep it as much time as they can. Risk of misuse, potential for overreach and intimidation during tax enforcement or political targeting. Obviously. Political targeting, obviously. Okay. So, ये होची IT Bill 2025 raw provision, some concerning provision, and these are concern raised. So, let's see. Principle, right to privacy, upheld Justice K.C. Puttaswamy 2017. Any intrusion must be legal, necessary, or proportionate. Search, seizure, protection. Article 21 and CRPC demands safeguards like warrants or magistrate order. So, ये भली कोनोसी safeguard नहीं. Okay. Suggested reforms require judicial authorization for digital data searches. So, a warrant or must be a document must be produced. Define digital evidence. There is no clarity on that. Okay. include data protection safeguards in sync with the Digital Personal Data Protection Act 2023. ତେଣୁ ଯଦି ଆମେ କହୁଛେ data protection, it must include the personal data protection as well. So my data would be protected absolutely to protect my privacy. तो मोर डेटा जदि आउ जणे नहीं कि ताको एक्सेस करूची तो obviously it violates my privacy or this article 21. Okay. Odisha related news देखिबा MSME Park policy announcement. Chief Minister Mohan Charan Majhi unveiled the scheme to develop 11 MSME specific parks aimed at catalyzing enterprise-led growth and employment. MSME parks, micro, small, medium enterprises park, which will increase the growth, economic growth as well as employment. These parks will provide ready infrastructure in the sense land, power, electricity, what we call connectivity, all those things. 1,000 entrepreneurs per year through incubation support. Complementary initiative, that is Utkarsh Utkal or Make in Odisha initiative, invest 108 crore in broader industrial promotion. MSME development schemes include interest reimbursement, startup growth fund and mega food parks facilitation. That means incentives or support by the government so that manufacturing units can be set up. State MSME policy 2022 supports cluster level infrastructure, inclusion of women and ACST entrepreneurs, fiscal incentive and skill building support as per the MSME policy 2022. Strategic objective, decentralized industrialization. Okay, that means MSME parks can be set up in diverse districts, different types of districts. It can be related to food processing or any such let's say textile. Employment generation, economic empowerment, focus on the inclusive growth through entrepreneurship. Inclusive growth means the women will be the entrepreneur, ACST population will be the entrepreneur, so inclusive growth, and also supports ease of doing business. That means single window clearance and it will facilitate. Okay. Next, artist Keshu Das to get Asit Mukherjee honor. Renowned lacquer artist Keshu Das, Baleswar, Odisha, will be awarded as the Asit Mukherjee honor. He is celebrated for his mastery in the Jou Kandhai lacquer doll tradition, जो कण्ढई नाच जोटा हमर हुए, preserving it through decades. His works have been showcased in the national galleries, international relief exhibition. Thus uses traditional motifs along the contemporary themes like horseshoe crafts. Honor recognizes his role as a cultural sustainability ambassador for Odisha's arts. The award ceremony will feature a display of his signature lacquer doll artwork. Bhitarkanika National Park. It is in news. Kendrapada district, 145 square kilometer, part of larger 672 square kilometer sanctuary complex, India's second largest mangrove forest after Sundarban. Only sanctuary in India hosts all three major crocodiles, जोटा कि हमें already भी देखी in the salt water, Gadial and Magar. Mangroves for a yesterday ecosystem rich in biodiversity. Crocodile conservation site हिसाब रे 1975 रे it was announced. Human wildlife conflict, recent fatal crocodile attacks led to barricades at bathing ghats, increased surveillance by the forest department. So it's a major problem in Bhitarkanika National Park. Conflict worsens in breeding season when crocodiles become aggressive. I think you know this. Bhitarkanika Park generally for the 3 months during the breeding season of this crocodiles, it is shut down for the tourist. Okay. Conservation status, Ramsar site, Bhitarkanika wetland, protected as per the Wildlife Protection Act 1972, linked to India's commitment on the conservation of biodiversity and Ramsar Convention. MCQs, please answer. Eleven MSME parks are planned across Odisha. Parks will support 1,000 entrepreneurs annually. initiative is funded under the Central Startup Fund? What would be the answer? 1 and 2 only. It's not Central Startup India Mission. Okay. Next, देखिए Keshu Das is a lacquer doll artist from Odisha. He will receive the Asit Mukherjee honor. His art themes include Hatsu crafts and environmental motifs. So answer is what? All 3. Use apanka Vitarkanika Park area is 145 square kilometer. Ramsar sites in 2002. Vitarkanika National Park jota. Crocodile census is held annually in January, leading to temporary closure. Hosts 3 crocodile species: saltwater, gadial, and mugger. So, answer is all of the above. Vitarkanika related question you can expect in prelims. Okay. And these 2 are the mains question. Discuss ecological significance of Vitarkanika National Park and the challenges it faces in balancing conservation with human activity. Evaluate Odisha's strategy to bolster MSME development through dedicated industrial parks. Associated policy measures. How do these contribute in sustainable and inclusive industrial growth? Okay. ठीक है. Any other query or any other if you want to ask? Again, परिपूर्ण बैच हम कही रखे 30th June हूँ लास्ट इंग्लिश ओडिया बैच रहिबो जो माने चाहिए जॉइन करबा पई join it today only by using this code J in live. Similarly, Aarambh batch भी अच्छी. इटा होची English and Hindi and ये होची आपनकर English and Odia. Okay. First time prelim जदि आपन clear कर दिए first attempt रे, money will be refunded. Okay. बाकी ये आपनकर टेलीग्राम चैनल जॉइन करि परिबे, फेसबुक इंस्टा मते फॉलो करिवे एंड आपनकर क्वेश्चन क्वेरी जहां भी थिबो या थ्रू रे मते पचरि परिबे. Prelims definitely maybe in September or October भी ही पारे. It depends on mains result, interview and then final result. Possibilities there, it would be in October. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. And Karan, keep watching. Okay. Thank you. Outline mu dei debi. Essay outline Sasmita mu dei debi. Okay. तेणु आज हूँ लास्ट डेट मु कही रखे जो मैंने जॉइन करने को चाहूँगी जॉइन कर नियंतु. अदरवाइज फ्रॉम टुमारो ऑनवर्ड्स द प्राइस विल इंक्रीज. परिपूर्ण बैच अच्छी इंग्लिश ओडिया बैच एटा आउ एटा हूँ आपनकर हिंदी इंग्लिश बैच आरंभ. थैंक यू.